Well, the Plan B morning after pill at some point will be available over the counter. I think the FDA announced that the contraceptive will be available without a prescription for those 15 and older. And the pill also no longer needs to be behind pharmacy counters. But wait, the Justice Department will appeal a judge's order that there should be no minimum age for the pill. Earlier this week, I told you it would happen. So that means that the decision to lift all age limits on all emergency contraceptives now suspended till the appeal can be heard. Doug Uloth, legal expert. Well, based on those facts, Doug, I guess the legal fight is far from over, eh?
That's correct. I mean, there actually are two fights going on, the court one, and then there is the FDA action that made the drug available to persons 15 and older.
Now, where's all this headed?
Well, at the moment, the appeal will continue to proceed in the Court of Appeals, and it's unlikely to have a rapid resolution. That can drag on for quite a while. The actual FDA decision currently stands, which allows the access to the drug for children, basically 15 and older, to be able to purchase it over the counter, as you mentioned, without any requirement to consult with the pharmacist. There's a provision that proof of age must still be provided at the checkout. There's going to be a marker on the box when it's processed at the register. The person purchasing it will have to show that they are in fact 15 or older, which will raise some interesting questions about how a 15-year-old will prove they're 15, since most don't have a photo ID. And there remain issues of the drug being very expensive, $50, I think, a dose. And also, there will, even beyond that will be the question of there's no current requirement that pharmacies stock the drug. So there may very well be many that just choose not to.
Right, a 15-year-old doesn't have any legal ID with a picture unless they do have an illegal ID.
Presumably, yeah.
If, you know what I mean? But that brings up an interesting issue. Without these photoed legal IDs for girls this young, I mean, what might be a birth certificate? I mean, what might be a legitimate proof of age?
This point in time, I don't know that most birth certificates are going to have a photo.
No, they don't.
A 15-year-old will have difficulty proving age, that they are, in fact, the person who appears on whatever their identification. I don't know whether a student ID or something will come into play and be a possible use, but that remains to be seen.
Now, states like Missouri, I think, are considering legislation that would prohibit any requirement that pharmacies stock certain drugs. Is this more, do you think, a states' rights issue, or is it more something that needs to be figured out at the federal level?
I'm not entirely sure what the basis of the action that Missouri's taken, other than sort of an immediate reaction, because as I understand the legislation that they're seeking to introduce, it's basically to prevent any requirement that pharmacies carry this, and at present there is no such requirement that I'm aware of. I think that that's probably an extension of what are called conscience objection laws. There have been in place drug prescription programs that are part of federal funded insurance or requirements under the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act that certain types of policies cover certain coverage that requires pharmacists to fill prescriptions for birth control. And those have been regulated at the state level by what are called conscience objection laws that are allowing pharmacists to not be in a position to be forced to fill prescriptions that run afoul of their own conscientious objections. So I think that the Missouri action may be an extension of that rather than an actual direct response to any currently existing requirement that the drug be made available.
And you don't think resolution is any time coming soon?
I don't think that there will be a resolution of the civil action requiring the drug be available without any restrictions. And as far as the FDA action itself, which is a separate matter, I mean, the drug will now be available for 15 years and older as soon as the manufacturer is able to get it to the market.
Doug Uloth, he's a legal expert on where we're going with a Plan B pill, morning after pill, available for 15-year-olds.